You never know what you're going to find at the pawn shop. Like this QuickShot 12 Deluxe Joystick controller for Nintendo. 35-year-old controller still in the box. So today we're going to take a look at this and we're going to test it out. Hey everybody, it's Chris from Family Geekery, and today we're going to be taking a look at this QuickShot 12 Deluxe Joystick that I found at a pawn shop, and it's still in the box. The box is in pretty decent condition, considering it's 30-something years old. I'm not sure how something like this ends up at a pawn shop. I guess someone maybe sold their whole collection of old retro video game stuff, and this was in it. But we're going to definitely take a look at this. So you can see here it says 6 Deluxe Positive Response Micro Switches and High-Speed Auto-Fire Capability. So recently on the channel I built a joystick and showed you what these micro switches look like and how they work. And this is a good example of having those types of switches in it as opposed to like membranes like more modern controllers do. 15 million joysticks sold worldwide. I guess QuickShot was pretty popular back then. I wonder if they're still around. But we're going to take a look at this. It's definitely set up for the Nintendo. And we're going to be testing it out on this guy here, which is the little classic Nintendo that came out a couple of years ago. Little HDMI version. I still have my original Nintendo from years and years and years ago, but this one's just a heck of a lot easier to set up. So let's test this out with a couple games on the Nintendo. So here it is. Here's the QuickShot 12 joystick. And plastic's not in bad condition considering its age. It's definitely used. It wasn't brand new in the package. Someone was using it, but it doesn't look overly used. It's still got the clickiness to the micro switches. So we got 4 directions. We got a trigger button and a thumb button. It's got 2 little buttons up here for start and select, and those are probably just little membrane buttons. And then down here we got a switch for auto fire, turn it on or turn it off. And of course you can't have a joystick without having the suction cups on the bottom, so you can stick this down to your table and you can go to town. Now the choice of using something like this on a Nintendo is a little odd because everybody's used to having, you know, these guys which became pretty much iconic in the years of Nintendo. But before that, we all grew up using something like this. So the old Atari joystick, and this is obviously a much more modern version of it, but just one stick and one button. That's all we needed for all of the Atari 2600 games. And that style of play, obviously it carried through onto the arcade. You'd have a joystick and buttons instead of a D-pad of any type. But that has definitely, you know, shown its age, and everybody's going the way of I mean, look at all these guys here. We all got handheld controllers that use our thumbs instead of using a whole hand. So this came out, the box shows a date of 1987 and then another copyright of 1989. So they were producing these things well after the original Nintendo was brought to market. So that led me to wonder what kind of games were they marketing this at for the Nintendo when everybody was using the the joypad for most games. So we're going to test this out with a couple different types of games and see how it works with a Nintendo. But the first thing we have to do before we can do that is figure out how to plug this guy into this guy. So this is the original Nintendo. They call it the 7-pin plug for their joysticks and stuff, and the new modern ones use something like this to plug in. Well, it doesn't take long for companies to figure out that weird people like me want to play with something old plugged into something new, so what do? They make an adapter. So this is an old school retro controller adapter for NES Classic. So this is the NES Classic plug. This is the old Nintendo 7-pin plug. And then in the middle, you put an adapter like this, and it just makes it work. So I got this on Amazon, probably, I think it was $10. There was some for $10 and between $10 and $20, depending on what brand you got. and this one looked like it was going to work for me, so we're going to test that out too. Alright, so I got the QuickShot controller plugged into the old school adapter going into the Nintendo Classic, and of course you can't play Nintendo Classic without firing up some Super Mario Brothers. So let's have a go at this with this type of controller. So we've got two buttons. I guess the thumb button in this case is going to be the jump. So this is probably the first time I've used a joystick for a game like Super Mario Brothers. Definitely takes some getting used to. I think you would definitely get some fatigue with this style of controller. I mean, I'm twisting my wrist right and left as opposed to just moving your thumb simply back and forth. And also the getting the turbo, see, I can't even do that, getting the turbo or the run button at the same time as the jump. It's just not common. You know, you used to just using your thumb on both the buttons. So this is just weird. And I'm even forgetting which button to push. So this is obviously not the right style of joystick for something like this. The other thing that I think would determine this is, you know, I remember back in the old days getting excited about a game and taking a controller like this thing and just about ripping the stick off, going back and forth so violently, especially when you're fighting something or you need to go right to left real quick. You would just about rip the stick off of it. So having the D-pad definitely solved that problem. There's got to be a game that this is good for, so let's keep looking. So what better than some Top Gun to try out this type of stick? Oh yeah, gotta kick the fires and light the tires or something like that. Let's see what kind of game this is. I've never played the Top Gun game before, but having a stick like this, you would figure this would be the right one. Come on, let's start flying. And take off. So this is definitely early days of Flight Simulator. There we go. Ready? There's not a whole lot of movement. What does what? Oop, there goes a missile. And there's my guns. I think it's kind of the opposite of a real plane. Well, I've never flown a real plane, but I would think that the trigger would be the guns, and the top hat here would be your missile. But what do I know? I don't know if I've been very successful at this game at all. I'm sure this was quite exciting back in the old days, though. Oh, splash. Oh, I just ate a missile. Alright, this game's not that exciting. Let's see if there's a different flight simulator I can use. Alright, so this is a more modern one. This is 1991, and it's made by Activision, so it's got to be good. Let's try out some Ultimate Air Combat. Gotta get our briefing. Secret ammo dunk. Let's go bomb it. Oh, now I get to choose a plane. Hornet, Harrier. Let's go with the Tomcat. Load it up, boys. Scramble, scramble. Oh, now we're talking. This definitely gives you the more of the feeling of, oh, same thing again. The trigger button was the missile, but I've already splashed one, so let's see if I can do a full loop-the-loop after I take care of this guy. Let's see if I can do a loop-the-loop. Whoa, yep. So you can do a loop-the-loop, you can do a barrel roll. This is more like it. So they make a game called Top Gun, but the Ultimate Air Combat is much better. Be ashamed of yourself. Where'd the bad guys go? I guess I should be looking at my radar. There we go. I'll take you out inverted. Missile away. Splash. Got him. One left, it says. Where is he? He's behind me. Missile away. Got him. Got all of them. So now what? Got him. Engaging autopilot. Oh, now we're over the ground. Oh, what is this? This must be how we get the ammo dump. Oops, dropping my bombs again. See if we can find that enemy base. This is when I need a radar. Hey, what's that? Is this a landing strip? Oh, here's the base. Bombs away. Uh-oh, they've got anti-aircraft guns. Let's make another run. I don't seem to have any bombs left. We're gonna have to gun them. I'm going right on the ground. Oh, there we go. Took out one building. Took out another building. Let's get rid of these guns. There we go. There we go. Nice. Ooh, supply trucks. Got it. Now that actually worked out pretty well with this type of stick. So let's try one more type of game. I got another game in mind that we'll see how this works. Alright, let's try this out with a shoot 'em up type game. So 1942 classic arcade game. In this case I'm going to turn this auto fire on and see if that helps. We'll switch it back and forth to see what it does. See if we can get these buttons figured out real quick. Alright, so there's my guns. And that's with the auto fire on. So let's take the auto fire off and see the difference. So yeah, so I'm holding down the trigger and it does actually go faster with the auto fire. Now I can go manual, but that would destroy your finger within one level. So let's keep that auto fire on. Oh, I missed the red plane. So this isn't too bad with this style joystick, except I just died. But this is, I guess, better, more like the, you know, you're used to using a joystick for this type of game in the arcades. Now with this particular joystick here, this home version of this joystick, I would say is not as high quality as the joysticks that you'd have in an arcade, and of course those have to withstand millions of teenagers smashing on them all day long. And this one's meant for home use. In fact, there's a rattle in here that I don't know if I've already broken a piece of plastic off inside, but it still seems to function just fine. So this type of game, not too bad. I would say I would probably prefer this shoot 'em up style game with a joystick versus a D-pad. But yeah, now I can see that there is a reason to have been selling these back in the 80s. So I think that's going to do it for this review. Thought it'd be fun to share what I found. And yeah, it's a pretty neat little device. Considering it's 35 years old and it worked right out of the box. Did need the adapter, of course, but that's just because I was too lazy to hook up my real Nintendo. So that's not the fault of the controller. Let me know down in the comments below if you have something like this, if you used a joystick like this on any of your old school retro consoles, or if you've used them on any of your new school retro consoles. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Probably throw it back in the box and stick it up on the shelf. I don't know if it's something I'd use every day. Maybe I'll take it apart and see what it is that's inside there that's rattling around. But hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give me a like, please. If you like this type of stuff and want to see more wacky stuff that I find at pawn shops, then go ahead and hit subscribe, because I did find another old school controller at a different pawn shop on the same day. So stay tuned for that. And thanks as always for watching. Until next time, peace out and geek out.